All right, y'all. What's going on out there? Thanks for tuning in with me here. I appreciate everybody that's been watching the videos here lately. I'm glad you're sticking around and still listening. I want to talk about a couple things here. I want to talk about self-esteem and I want to talk about can we just be? Can we just be? Why do we think that we have to try to be something for other people? Why do we keep doing that to ourselves? Because I know for me, I did this at one time. When I was around people, I always had to force myself to smile, but there was times where I really did want to smile, but most of the time I was cheesing because I was hiding how I really felt about things. And see, I don't smile as much. It doesn't mean that there is a problem with smiling because there's not a problem with smiling. It's just, are you smiling because you really want to smile and you really want to laugh, or are you smiling because you're hiding something? And see, self esteem is just another word. It is just another conformist word. Who do we need self esteem for? Why do we need self esteem? Why can't we just self reflect? Why can't we just be? See, the word try is not in my vocabulary anymore. See, self esteem is not in my category anymore. These words don't make sense to me. Mistakes, failures do not make sense to me. They are hollow words. They don't mean anything. There's nothing, there's no backbone to these words. They're just made up words to make us think that it's something that it's really not. Like I said before, the only mistake that we can make is if we had to build a bridge that is 40 feet long, 6 inches, and 3 centimeters. And we build a bridge that is 46 inches, or, whatever I said, 40 feet, 6 inches, and 2 inches long, and it's an inch off, or it's, no, I'm sorry, 2 centimeters. It's 40 feet, 6 inches, and 2 centimeters instead of 3 centimeters. Then you made a mistake there. You failed at making the bridge the proper way. But when we're talking about things like music and art and the person the person that you are being in the moment, there is no such thing as failing or mistakes. It doesn't exist. This is all things that we have been conditioned with. It is just the baggage of conditioning that we're carrying around with us to still try to prove something to people. We're still attempting to think that we have to be a certain way. And this is all that self-esteem is saying. It's saying, well, why do I need esteem? Who do I need esteem for? Why do I need esteem? To be like someone else? To try to fit in where I don't belong? To do all these nonsensical things? It's nonsense. It's all nonsense. it's the baggage of nonsense, basically. That's what it is. And to anyone tuning in, cheers. We're going to have a good day today. Are you with me? See, here is what I am. I don't know if I want to use the word believer, but here is what I know for myself. If we are around a certain energy, a certain person that has a certain energy for a certain amount of time, you will end up picking up that energy. You see? And see, the thing is, we don't have to emulate that person. We don't have to be like that person. But have you ever heard a musician that does a song and you feel that song? You resonate with that song. You get some kind of energy or a vibe from that song. That is, see, this is a lot of our problem. We're around the wrong energy. We're listening to the wrong energies. And look, no, I don't even want to say wrong, because who am I to say what is right and wrong? When you are around energies, there are energies of hatred. There are energies of bitterness. There are energies of anger, and there's nothing wrong with being angry. It's how are we using our anger? You see? How are we using our anger? And what are we doing with this energy that we have? And to break out of what we may have been telling ourselves for so long, I know for me, I had to literally be at the end of the road. I had to lose my mind. I had to go insane. I had to go mad almost. Well, I did go mad. I did go mad a couple times. And there's something Charles Bukowski said. I'm not going to say this exactly right, but he said, most people never lose their minds. What pathetic lives they must lead. And it's so true, because what are we holding on for? What are we holding on to here? Who are we putting this show on for? You see, even me, when I'm on these videos, my nerves are acting up today. My eyes are acting up and my nerves are acting up. I'm really shaky. I'm really, really shaky today. It's a little cold in here too, but see, this is why I'm really tense when I'm recording and stuff. But I'm telling myself, Nate, relax. What is the point of being so tense? What is the fear there? What is the anxiety there? What is the thing that is making you like that? Excuse me. You see, it's really not there. It's not there. It's a figment of my imagination. It's in my mind. It's telling me this, even though I'm feeling some physical things, you know, my nerves are acting up, and I do have some nerve damage in my body, and my hands go numb all the time when I'm sitting in this chair. My back tenses up. My lower back is a little bit messed up, and my neck is messed up a little. And those things make me a little uncomfortable. Yes, my physical body's a little uncomfortable in these videos sometimes. even when I'm out here walking and stuff. But I now know that in here, I realize that this is just a game going on in my thoughts. It's patterns. It's patterns of thought that the more that I see that my thoughts are just thoughts. I couldn't catch this for the longest time. I could not catch this. I could not catch on. I was believing my thoughts. You see, I was believing that voice in my head that was telling me things, and I was playing into the game of the thought itself. And now I can just sit here and I can see how nonsensical it really is. I can see how nonsensical these words that mankind have made up are. Self-esteem is absolutely nonsensical. I would say self-reflection. The word like, even though I tell people, like the video. If you do anything on this channel, like my video. That is all that I ask. And you don't even have to do that. You can dislike it if you want. That's your choice if you want to do that. But all that I would ask is like the video. But I would say no liking, understanding. See, these words that we use are fools' words. They are words for unintelligent people. They are words for conformists. They are words for the people that are not with this energy. And it is a certain energy, because there's energies all around us. Right now, the phone is vibrating. Right now, my body is vibrating. The room is shaking. Everything is moving all the time, even when it doesn't look like it's moving. You know, this is why shells and other things like that, when I'm looking down like this, I'm looking at my levels so I'm not clipping here. I don't want to mess the video up with the volume. Volume is so important. And let me tell you something. Volume will make or break a video, and it has took me so long to figure things out like this. I know this is off topic, but this is how I like doing things. I like just transitioning into different things. Knowing how to record and make the videos to where they sound good, and just all these little things that it took me, because I learned all this myself. Right now I have this going from my microphone out going into the phone, and then I have this hooked up to put the power to this. But you would be surprised how volume will make or break a video. It's a very big deal. But anyway, that's really off topic. But even though I see the way that I talk with people, my tone of voice is what may throw some people off. But once we understand what it is that I'm saying here, my tone of voice will resonate more with the people that have stuck around and stick around here and listen to these videos, because what I am saying here, it is something that not a lot of people And I am not saying I'm special. I am not saying that my shit doesn't stink. I'm not saying that. But I am unique. Every single one of us are unique people. Every single one of us are unique people. Every single one of us. But are we telling ourselves that? See, are we telling ourselves these things? And it's just like the saying, how are you going to help someone that don't want to help themselves? You can't. What are you going to do? Smack them upside the head? What are you going to do? Force it on them? It's I don't like the word try. I don't like the word advice. I don't like the word self-esteem. I don't like the word like. I don't like these words. And see, I say like, see, I'm even using the word myself. So there I go. I got caught in my own hypocritical trap here. But I don't resonate with those words. They're nonsensical words. They mean nothing once you get to this understanding of yourself and you understand that these words are simply to be a certain way for people. It is a way to conform to the norms of what other people are doing. It's putting you in your own trap. These words are literally trapping us. They're trapping us in within ourselves. See, once we are free from these things, once we understand every aspect of our lives, once we understand every aspect of our lives in this world, that is when we will be free within ourselves because we understand ourselves and we understand the things that are making us sick. We understand the things that we're telling ourselves. We understand. And this is why the phrase, it is it is the most relevant phrase that you will ever hear in your life. A lack of knowledge destroys the people. I know that I said this to y'all tens of times, maybe even hundreds of times, but this saying is one of the most important things that you will ever keep on your mind is a lack of knowledge destroys the people. Because when you don't know, you don't know. And when you know, you know. And here's what I want to talk about next. I want to get into this because I have to clear the air. This is on my mind. And I have to, because see, when you talk about something, even when you talk about words, when you talk about one word, it's not just, you can't just know the word as one thing. You can't possibly use a word and it means one thing. That's impossible. One word can mean so many things. It can go so many places. It can be explained so many different ways. And when I talk about the things that I talk about, when I do these videos, now see, I lost train of thought of what I was going to say, and I don't know why that happens with me sometimes, but it does. But when I say certain things, it might seem like I'm saying it in some way that I'm really not saying it. You see, I could say something about understanding something and we might take it a different way than how I'm really saying it myself, and we might not be able to discern it the way that I'm saying it. It might not come across to the person how they think that I'm saying it for myself. And I forgot what I was going to say, but I watched a couple channels where I hear them talking about how they they say how things really are here, and they're actually talking about how things are, but nobody is really doing anything about these things. Nobody is willing to do something about their situation, or however they're feeling. They're not willing to go and seek out what they need to stop feeling that way, or to stop living that way, or to stop telling themselves what they're telling them. It's like some people are going to need medication in this world. Some people are going to need to talk to other people. Some people are going to need counseling or therapy. Some people are going to need to find an art or a craft. Some people are going to maybe need to uh, go to some place where other people are. Some people might need to go into a rehab for a little while. Some people might need to find God and religion to cope through life. It's like there has to be something there. There has to be something there that keeps us distracted, but then we have this time of silence. See, silence is very misunderstood too. Silence is a thing. Silence is actually a thing that we look down upon. And when we are, see, we shouldn't have to do all these things that we do when we're around people because we don't know each other. When you have an understanding of someone, you don't have to make so much noise. You don't have to do all these extra things, all this extra baggage. You don't need to react to so many things, or have so much stimuli there, or impress. You don't have to do those things when you understand someone. And this is the problem with a lot of our world, is a simple lack of understanding with things. And then people are, they're so caught up in having to get other people's approval. They're so caught up in seeking what someone else thinks or how everybody else will view them, and they constantly need to be doing something. We can't be quiet around each other. We can't sit in silence. We can't do the things that feel uncomfortable when they're really not uncomfortable. They're really not uncomfortable. We are just trained to think that sitting in silence is uncomfortable. See, we are conditioned to think when we go to the store, we have to say hi and hello and how are you and all this. When really, we really don't need to say anything, really. I mean, it's, there's nothing wrong with talking. I like talking myself, but I talk like this because this is my therapy. This is my therapeutic sessions. This is me just pressing record, getting on a video, and talking. That's all that it is. I'm not trying to make it anything at all for anybody. I don't want people, I'm not doing this for people to like me. I'm doing it because it's something in my spare time that I want to do for myself, you know? And, that's what I mean. Can we just be? Can we just be? And the reason why A lot of us, we we can't just be, is because we still have a lot of the conditioning and indoctrination baggage. We still have this in our heads. We still have this in our thought patterns. See, if we don't let go of this stuff, if we don't filter this out of our mind, if we don't get this out of our lives and away from us, and we don't start resonating on a different energy, then we're going to keep falling back into those traps. We're going to keep going right back to all of the things that are keeping us heavy. We're going to go right back to all the things that are keeping us sick, keeping us not liking ourselves, keeping us hating ourselves, being angry with others. See, this all has to do with self-reflecting on ourselves, understanding ourselves, being honest with ourselves. If we do not do that, then it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And the people that say things like, well, that's for you, it doesn't work for me. You know, some people are this way and some people are that way. Some people are going to get it and some people won't. No, that's because they're making the decision. They're making a choice not to understand for themselves. They're choosing to be in their own misery. They're choosing to hate life. They're choosing to do all the things that they're doing. Now, me, I can't sit here and lie to people. I like myself. Now, I know that might sound narcissistic or selfish or self-indulged, and all these are other nonsensical words. Narcissist, self-indulged, selfish. They're bullshit words. To me, they're bullshit. We're all selfish and we're supposed to be selfish. It's just, can we control our selfishness? See, it's all about control. Are we being controlled, or are we in control but willing to give up control when the time is needed? Like for me, as a person, as an individual, I have to surrender every day. That's what I started doing again because I made the decision to do that. But it's either you're being controlled or you're in control. There is no other way. You're either being controlled by the masses and the TV and what your friends and family and what people say, or you are in control of yourself. And you're in control of your thoughts. You're in control of the things you do, the things you say, the way you live, the things you eat. And when I hear other people saying things like this, it bothers me. It does bother me. I can't lie. It bothers me. And that's why I keep making these videos, is to make them understand. The things that a lot of people talk about that I hear sometimes, I'm not saying that I listen to this stuff all the time, because if I listen to certain things like this all the time, it would just drag me down into that place. It would just make me feel a certain way that I don't want to feel. I made my mind up that I won't live that way for myself anymore. I've already seen, I've already hit rock bottom. I've already been at the edge of the cliff. I already fell off the cliff. I already lost my mind. I already went mad. I already went insane in life. I've already lost everything before. And the people that talk about things like, you know, well, what's the point of living? We're going to die anyway. Okay, well, we're going to die anyway. So what are we doing until then? Why not live to the fullest? live life to the fullest while we're here. What is the point? What is the point of hating life? What is that doing for any of us? What is the point of ragging on things every day? Well, what are we doing to change them instead of ragging on them all day? Instead of talking about the same thing over and over and how it sucks and this is the way that it is and these people keep doing these things. No, it's really you. It's really you and I when you really think about it. See, there's something that someone just said earlier in a video I was watching, and he said the top 3 reasons why humanity is so messed up. And the number 1 reason he said was, the problem is you. The problem is me. And see, a lot of us, what we're doing is we're constantly talking about the problem. We're constantly ragging on the problem. We're constantly associating ourselves with the problem. We're constantly calling out the problem. We're constantly discussing the problem. We're constantly resonating on the problem. We already know that there's a problem, brothers and sisters. We already know this. It's over. We know there's a problem. We know that there's people suffer with cancers and we know that people are going to die. We know that people don't like their jobs. We know that life is sometimes it's not peaches and cream all the time. We're not happy all the time. We know this. So my question is, what are we doing to live? Life is for living. Life is not to be hated. Life is not to be looked down upon. This is what's making us sick. It's what's making us tell ourselves this stuff every single day. I mean, what is it going to take for some people to realize this? I mean, I don't know how to make people realize this for themselves. Because, like I said, how are you going to help someone that doesn't want to help themselves? But it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Why would anyone want to go through the rest of their life being miserable? Why would someone want to despise their own life? See, and that's why I put in my video, God equals self-image. Because the way that you see God is the way that you see yourself. That's how I see it. And if you hate God, you hate yourself. If you're bitter with God, you're bitter at your own life. That's how I see it. And yet again, everyone, they'll go right back to, I know how we think. I know what we do. We'll say, oh, well, God did this in the Bible and God did this and, God's responsible for this. Look, we've already asked ourselves those questions. I've already been there before. I hated God. I cursed God every day for years at one time. I didn't even want to hear the name of God. I didn't even want to hear God. I didn't want to hear anything about anything because I was blocking out everything. I was not willing to just say, okay, well, this is how it might be. This is what it might not be. These are how things are. These are how I'm perceiving things to be. And all I see is we keep getting caught up in and of our own bad habits, our own bad thoughts, our own ways of doing things where we are getting stuck within ourselves. See, we are the ones that are getting stuck within ourselves. It isn't people out there, it isn't people, places, and things. It's you and I. You and I are the key to this puzzle. You reflecting on yourself is the link that is missing. And look, you don't look, I can't force anybody. That's not up to me if people believe in God or not. That is not what is relevant to me. What's relevant to me is the act of doing what I do, is the act of surrendering every day, is the act of laying me down so that this is not going absolutely nuts. Because it seems like when I try to solve this thing, there is no solving this thing. It's just letting it be. You see, but I say things like, well, there's problems that only we can solve. See, I mean it in a different way when I say it in that context. You understand what I'm saying? But when I do the things I do, this is what I need to do for myself. If we have it on our minds that what we're doing is for someone else, we're never going to be fulfilled with that, because that person cannot liberate you. That person cannot fulfill you. A woman cannot fulfill a man, and a man cannot fulfill a woman. It's just the only person that you can fulfill is yourself. That is the only person you can fulfill is yourself. There's nobody going to fulfill you, because you and I are in this thing. We are it. We are the thing that is here. And for me, what I'm on lately, I know this is a very weird and contradicting way of looking at something, but I am on this non-dualistic thing with God. God, non-duality, and understanding. And I know it's very contradicting, because non-dualism, most people don't believe in God. They don't think there's a God. They say everything is the same, and everything is the same here. We're all made out of the same stuff. All that you're looking at in this video, you're looking at somebody, but nobody. You see, I'm nobody. I am just somebody, not somebody. I'm not somebody. I'm somebody here in front of you. Flesh, blood, bone, water, magnesium, copper, all the elements that are in my body. That's what you're looking at. You're not looking at a person here. You're not looking at somebody. You're looking at somebody, but you're not looking at somebody. And there's always a but there, because the B-U-T, is always needed when you're going for to explain something. You see, because it's kind of like everything but nothing. And that's what I wrote in my notebook. I wrote everything but nothing. That's what we are. And that's what God means to me, is everything. God equals everything. See, it's not something to get religious about. It's not to think religiously right away. God equals everything to me. That's what the word God means, is everything to me. And then when I say everything, I'm everything but nothing. I'm everything here. I fit in with whatever's here. I am here alive, living right now. And that's what I want to do, is live. Why do I want to think of death before death, even though I do think of death a lot? And I went through a huge stage of thinking about death. I still think about it, but I don't want to. I've already died before I died. See, I don't want to do any more dying right now. I want to live until I die. And then, like I wrote in here, everything but nothing. Somebody but nobody. It's always the steady contradiction there, that if we keep that in mind and we keep telling ourselves these things, and see, people might see this as another form of conditioning, and this is deconditioning. This is deconditioning in every way that you can think of. It's deconditioning from everything we've been conditioned to think about, because conditioning is the very thing. Self-esteem, liking, all of these words are nonsensical words. They do not mean anything. They have no backbone. They have no relevance for someone like me, someone that is similar to me. And when I say someone like me, it's even though you may resonate with what I might be saying, it doesn't mean that you are emulating me, because you're not me. You're you. You have your own unique being. Can you just be you? Can you just be you today? Can we just be ourselves without putting on the show, without wearing the mask, without telling ourselves that we have to have self-esteem for someone, without forcing ourselves to try to be something or try to act a certain way? These things are an absolute waste of time, an absolute waste of energy, an absolute waste of thought and thinking. They're absolutely irrelevant and nonsensical to my life. And see, the thing is, the reason why I know why this channel will never be a really big channel, I don't know. Maybe it might end up being a big channel if it catches on. I don't know. But I doubt it, but I don't know. But the reason why it's never going to be a really big channel, and there's only going to be a few people that probably stick around, I don't know. More people might stick around and more people might come. I really don't know. But the reason why that will happen is because I am not conforming to the norms no more. I am done with the way that the world sees a lot of things and the way they do a lot of things. See, I refuse to be controlled. I will not be controlled by anyone or anything. I will not be controlled by money. I will not be controlled by material things, and I will not be controlled by other people. It just will not happen with me. And the reason being is because I'm not doing what groups of people do. See, this is for individual thinkers. This is for individual people that can think for themselves. You see, do you think a group of people are going to come to my channel and watch my video? Do you think that people that are around one another and thinking, oh, well, what are they going to think if I say this? Or what are they going to think if I act this way? Or if I don't do this specific thing, then I'm going to be seen as the outcast. See, if you are an outcast, I used to wear outcast shirts all the time because I always knew that I was an outcast. I just didn't accept the fact that I was an outcast. See, I was scared to own I am an outcast. But I didn't want to use that label though. What I was being was the outcast, but see, I always treated people how they wanted to be treated. I treated people how I would want to be treated, and that worked out for me. I never seriously got hurt. I never got in like real big trouble. I did get in some trouble with things, but I had to learn all this for myself. That's why I am a very unique individual person, because I had to learn all this stuff for myself. I had to go through this. I had to force myself at one time to go through this because I wanted to know myself through and through. And I forced myself to lose my mind. I forced myself to go crazy. I forced myself to go mad. I forced myself. See, what knowledge will do when you are a skeptic and you ask question after question after question and you're completely confused. When you are at the point of confusion, confusion is not a bad thing either. If you are absolutely confused with life and you're looking into things and you're seeing how things are and you're not judging either side, you're learning from each side and you're doing that for yourself, you are going to go insane. You are going to lose your mind. You are going to feel absolutely confused. I know. I went through this myself, and I hear other people like Eckhart Tolle, Osho. I don't remember if Charles Bukowski said something like this, but he did say something like that in a quote. He said, it's too bad people don't lose their mind. Nobody ever loses their mind. What pitiful lives they must lead. And that's absolutely true, because if you're not willing to lose all of this stuff, all of this nonsensical stuff, all of these things trying to prove things to people, to lose all of your conditioning, all of the baggage that has been put on you, then you're going to remain in that trap. You are going to stay being controlled by other people, other places, other things, other friends, other family members, other institutions, other workplaces. You see what I'm saying? You're either in control of yourself and your thinking and your thoughts and your destiny and everything you're doing, or you are being controlled. And it's a shame to say, but most people will remain being controlled. And even the people that think they're in control, even the people that I'm even subscribed to some people. I even listen to some people out there. And I don't say this as a bad thing. I don't say this as a thing to hurt anyone or anything like that. But they are still being controlled. They are still going by some of the conformity. They are still doing things that the people that are doing this are still doing, but they don't realize what they're doing. They're still using labels to justify things or to compare themselves. They're still putting themselves in a certain category. They're still not just being. Can we just be? Can we just be? Can we just be? Can we just sit here silently for a couple seconds without thinking that we have to go to another video or we have to get more stimulation. Can we sit here just for a minute, starting now? Can we just sit here for a minute in silence with one another and get to know each other digitally? See, I don't need to know you personally. See, but what are most of us thinking? We're thinking, I have to do something. I have to go somewhere else and listen to someone else. There's something that I have to do for the world or other people. This isn't enough. And this is that stimuli that is tricking us into believing that we need that thing. You see, it's already been a minute. But do we really realize how many things we have been lied to about, that we have been tricked into thinking that that's the way we need to be, and we never needed to be that way? We were almost all fine the way that we were when we were children. It's just a lot of the things we learned, we picked up on. That was the baggage itself, was saying, well, you have to go to school to be this thing. You have to do this to get along with these people. You got to have friends. You have to socialize with people. See, this was all forced upon us. Now, I'm not saying that children cannot be cruel, because children can be some of the cruelest people ever, but most of the time it's a learned condition. Most of the time someone teaches them to do that. And what do kids do? Kids just do whatever the parent or whatever the person that's doing whatever, they pick up on that, and they just think that that's cool because the other person did it, and they want to get that person's approval. But see, we don't know as kids what we're doing. We don't understand as children that this thing is cruel. This thing is not right. This thing is something you might not want to do. But see, they don't know any better, because they have been led by they've been led by the stimuli. They've been led by the stimuli there. They've been led by something that they got a feeling, a reaction from, and they're ignorant of what they're doing. Because I know I did these things when I was a kid, and I was very ignorant, and I seen how nonsensical it was. I seen how stupid and foolish and irrelevant it was, what I was thinking and doing. But see, I didn't have anybody to teach me that, because they didn't even know themselves. See, they weren't taught themselves from their parents or their grandmothers or their family. So, and it's sorry to say, but this is not a shot against parents or anything. But a lot of the times, parents are not all to blame, but parents are to blame for a lot of the things why a child doesn't know something, or they do some of the things they do. A lot of the times it's like, where were the parents at? Why are we still doing some of the things we're doing? Because our parents never really taught us any kind of ways. They never confronted some things. Now, I know you have to let a kid be a kid. We have to let people be people, but there has to be something there. There has to be some kind of understanding of what we're doing to ourselves and other people. It just has to be there. So anyway, y'all, thanks for listening. Thanks for being with me. Just remember these words like self-esteem, like, achieve, goals, all these kinds of things. You're doing this for another person, and another person is never going to validate you. Another person is never going to fulfill you. Now, I know some people, they'll take it wrong and they'll think, well, I need to be around people. I need to talk to people. And listen, I understand that. I need to talk myself. I'm talking into this microphone to you that's listening. I need to talk myself, but I do it in a different way. I do it in the most safe and secure way that I can. I don't go out causing trouble. I'm not stirring up drama. I'm not gossiping. This is my channel. I'm speaking into a microphone in my four-cornered room. So I found a way for myself to make it the safest, to make it to where I'm not causing any issues, to where I don't need to rely on other people. I need to rely on people for some things. I know that people go to work and they do what they do to make the food, plant the food, water the food, bring the food to the store and all that. And I'm very appreciative for them things. But people are a tool to be used. I'm not saying just use people up. I'm saying people are a tool to be used. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. If you are depressed and you just, whatever you're doing or whatever, you just can't get out of that, then maybe you need to do something other than what you're doing yourself. I don't know what is right for anybody. All I know is what's right for myself. And I know that if we pick up on this energy will sustain us. This energy will keep us. This energy will be our solitude, our clarity, our peace, our joy, our refuge. See, this is the type of energy that I have myself. So if someone is actually listening for themselves and they pick up that energy, that is real energy. But see, don't let all the old crap come back. Don't let all the old concepts and stuff come back, because that is what is going to, the old habits want to come back so bad. The old habits are screaming. The streets are screaming for you. The streets are calling you. The bars are calling you. The thoughts, the thought patterns are calling you. The I have to prove something is calling you. I have to get approval from people is calling you. All of these things are patterns. They were learned patterns. They were learned baggage thoughts. They were learned conditioned things that we have to see them for what they are. Once we see them for what they are and we confront them and we understand what they're doing, this is when this is going to come, where you will have the tools necessary to get through as best as you can. And that's why I do this. It's a tool. It's a tool there. So yet again, can we let it be? Can we just be? Can we simply be? Yes, we can. We can. We just got to tell ourselves that. That's all. We just got to tell ourselves it. Don't let that voice in your head say, no, I got to be this. No, I can't stop chasing this. No, I need to go do this. See, you're believing the thought. You're letting the thought run you. You're being controlled by the thought itself. See, do you feel that? Do you feel that when you just sit here and that silence comes across the phone and there's just no voice, there's no nothing? You see, that is actually solitude itself. That is actually where it's at when needed be. Now, see, I'm not saying that I don't need to distract myself sometimes. I'm not saying I don't need to listen. I listen to Osho videos sometimes. Uh, his videos are really relaxing. But I have a whole array, a whole assortment of things that I do. I switch up what I'm doing all the time. I go from silence, sitting, not doing anything. Then, when I had enough of that, I go making music, I write, I exercise, I do a video. Then I go back to the other thing. You see, it just can't be one thing all the time. It just can't be one thing all the time. And anybody that's telling you something like that, anybody that is telling you you will become this way or you will be this way all the time once you do this. See, these people are fooling you. They're tricking you. And when you have the discernment to know this, see, that's another energy that I spread is discernment. If you stick around here, you will obtain a lot of discernment for yourself if you're listening to what I'm saying. But yet again, that's out of my control what anybody does with it. You see, I'm only in control of myself. But are you in control of what you're doing? That's all that matters. All that matters is that you're getting something for yourself from this. I do not matter for you. I don't matter. I don't matter at all. I'm somebody, but nobody. I'm nobody. I am a vessel here that is speaking words and giving off a certain energy and frequency and vibration because this stuff's for real. This isn't no bogus stuff here that I'm talking about. This is real actual facts that I'm talking about. These are things that they're looked at like magic or looked at like it's some kind of mystical stuff or whatever. Now, I resonate with some mysticism, mystical stuff too, but it's not mysticism. It's actual real things. It's like I said, there's all kinds of different energies and vibrations and all kinds of stuff. And the energy that the TV and the news and most of what the world is putting out, it's an energy that it's out of focus. It's out of balance. It's out of whack. And that's all we need to do is get ourselves back into a balance of understanding both sides of things and discerning both things, discerning everything. See everything, but nothing. It's very hard to explain what I mean by this concept. When you realize it's important, everything is important, but it's not important. There's a time for it to be important, and there's a time where it's not important. And the energy of neutrality is something very rare to come across. To come across just being and being neutral from everything, but being a part of everything at the same time. And people say, well, how are you going to be a part of everything, but then be neutral from everything? How are you going to be somebody, but nobody? How are you going to be everything, but nothing? And there's no answer to this. There's no answer to this at all. It's let it be. Let it be and discern. See, all that extra stuff that we think, all that extra stuff that comes to our mind, all these words that we try to finagle and we're trying to prove something and we think we need to go somewhere and be this, or we need to we think there's something that we're missing in the world. We're not missing out on anything. The only thing we're missing out on is ourselves. That's what we're missing out on. We're missing out on ourselves. That's what we're missing out on here. That's the life we're missing out on. This little bit of life that we have. This little bit of life that we have. Are we going to take this for granted? Are we going to take this little bit of time we have for granted and just let it all go to waste? Let's do something here, but not force ourselves to do something. Let's do something while we're here. Let's make this world, let's make this world a little bit better than what it is. Because if we're not making it better, we're making it worse. Or if you're somebody that just stays away from it all, you're still kind of a culprit because you really can't escape the fact that you're a part of this thing. We can't escape the fact that we're a part of this. There's just no way around it. So let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's be responsible. Let's be in control of what we're doing here. Let's own our own problem. Let's own our own thoughts and our thinking patterns. And I know this video is really long, but what I'm doing myself is I am I am just letting it be what it is. I still have this thing in my mind and I'm going to speak it out. I'm going to talk about it because it's something on my mind. It's something bothering me. It's something in here that's bothering me. But when I press record, it's almost like, okay, now what? Now what are you going to do? What are you going to say? How are you going to be? See, that's that thing in my head going on that I'm talking about. And this is why I like recording. I love recording. I love doing videos. I have a passion for this. This is my passion. You know, this is what I really want to do. But every time I'm going to press the record button, there's some kind of awkward feeling like I have to be a certain way. Okay, they're expecting this of you or something. Like this this thing where if it was just on and I didn't have to press record and I could just pick up the microphone and start talking like this, and I didn't reach for the record button, cuz see, this is how we are as people. Right when we're going for the record button, or right when we get around other people, or right when we're going someplace, right away we put up this defense mechanism. We put up this kind of wall. We put this exterior up. We put up this mask and facade. It's almost like, this is why I say, can you just be you 100%? And I don't know if there's even such a thing as this. I don't even know if there's such a thing as just being you 100%. I think we're always, someone like me, I feel as though I am 99.98% me. I feel like there's this little part there that can't let go of the thought in my head thinking, well, you're recording yourself, Nate. Do you know what you're saying, Nate? What you say, it might do this, it might do that, it might not do this. You see what I'm saying? And it's a really funny thing, but it's there. It's there. And even though I've been recording videos for 3 years, I am still not fully comfortable in my own skin when I record a video. I'm still not at ease in my body. I'm still a little tense. I'm still thinking, how is somebody going to judge me and all this stuff? But I know that is nonsensical things. It's nonsensical baggage. It's irrelevant to anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's just a thought in my head that is causing a reaction. That's all that it is. And the more that you do something, you don't always, when they say the more you do something, the more comfortable you get, or the more that you practice an instrument, the better you get. Well, not all the time. That's not always true, because I've been recording videos for almost 4 years, and I still have that thing there that's there, that maybe if I call it out, maybe if I talk about it, maybe if I get it out of me and I bring it up, maybe it won't be there. You see, maybe it's like the thorn in my mind that I have to release from me by talking. Maybe that energy that's there, I have to release that energy by just saying it and getting it away from me. Say, look, get away from me. I don't need you. You're unnecessary. So yeah, y'all, it's, just let it be what it's going to be. My song, just let it be what it's going to be. Just let it be what it's going to be. So yeah, let it be. Just let it be, but at the same time, understanding through and through and discerning what it is that you're doing to yourself. That is all that matters. What's going on out there, what you think's going on out there, what you think you have to be for others, you think you have to try to be. If you are trying to be, you know that is not you. That is not where you belong in that moment of time. If you're trying to be, you're forcing yourself. And how can you get mad at yourself if you're forcing yourself to be something? And then when something happens that it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, well, you were trying anyway. So don't try. Charles Bukowski got on his tombstone. Don't try. And it's always the simple things. It's always the simple things. It's always when I limit myself is when I'm more creative. When I have less, I'm more creative. I think more. It forces me to think more. It forces me to have to say, well, what am I doing and what am I not doing? See, less is more. When you have less, you're automatically forced to make something more with the less you got. The less ingredients you have, then you're going to have to flip up something to make that thing better, to taste better. If you have 1,000 ingredients, then you're going to be like, which one should I choose? Okay, I got this one, and this one in here, but I might add this one and mess up the whole recipe. So if you just put pepper, salt, and a little bit of Sazone in it, it was fine, you know? So anyway, y'all, cheers. It's going to be a good day. Uh, enjoy solitude, clarity of mind, and peace to everybody. Take care of yourselves. Later on. I'm out.